Hello, YouTube, and welcome back to another Feature Discovery Series episode of Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's been a little bit since we last did this. We did it over the multiplayer video that released about a couple months ago now. And I know the IFR video is coming out today, but I'm on vacation, so I thought I would pre-record one for you guys over the airport since you seem to enjoy the first episode of me just kind of talking and discussing what we're seeing from these Discovery Series videos. So without further ado, let's just dive on in here and have a grand old time looking at this beautiful simulator, which it really does. Because I mean, just look at that. It's amazing. I can't wait for later this year because I feel like it's gonna come out late this year. Or at least that's what I'm hoping for.
And welcome to this new episode of the Feature Discovery Series. I am Sven Mestas, lead game designer at Asobo Studio. In this episode, I'm going to talk about airports in the new Microsoft Flight Simulator. First,
Thank you.
I'll
That
begin
sounds
by
fantastic.
how we are covering the various types of airports, both geographically and by scale. Then, I'll explain the work pipeline to treat each of these airports from being aerials to their final state in Flight Simulator. Finally, I'll present to you airport life and talk about services, ground traffic, and air traffic.
Sounds like a plan.
The previous version of Microsoft Flight Simulator, FSX, simulated more than 24,000 airports. The new Flight Simulator features all the airports in the world, including 37 manually edited airports.
God, that's a lot of work if you think about it.
This coverage
I mean,
begins
my
at
goodness.
small countryside bush airstrips, all the way to huge international airports. Geographically, you'll find airports all over the world, nestled on small islands, adjacent to major cities, and perched on mountainsides.
Ooh.
North and South America, Europe, Africa, Asia, and Oceania are all represented.
Just the weather effects alone look fantastic. And you got the people walking around and everything. That's what I really can't wait to see, is just how all those vehicles will converge on the
Before
the
editing
aircraft.
airports, we needed to first create a database. We started from the FSX collection and decided to add more airports to give better coverage and a larger amount of locations to explore. After lots of triage and selection, we edited 37,000 airports. In order to reach a new level of reality in flight simulation, we needed a new approach. That's why we decided to innovate by editing airports from real aerials and satellite pictures.
I mean, okay, I need to pause this really quick, just because, 37,000 individual airports that they actually went through to make look, like it is in real life. That just sounds like so much work, because Asobo Studios isn't that big. I mean, it's a pretty hefty studio, but that's a lot of work, because they kind of showcase how they do it here a little bit later, but it's amazing to think about how much work has been put into this.
Technique involves editing each airport manually, which means particular attention to details has been given to every single one of them to bring them a step closer to reality. This work has never been done at this scale, and that's why we needed to create a specific tool for developers to handle airport editing. Now, I'll take you through this edition process. This pipeline has been used for every single airport. Step 1 is to trace logical elements straight on the Bing map aerial. We begin by drawing the airport perimeter, which will force the building type generation when it will occur. Next, we draw the runway with as much accuracy as available by defining its real length and width. Its orientation will determine its numerical markings according to magnetic north. After that, we define taxiways based on the real ones, which will be used for ground traffic, air traffic, ATC, and Simmers. We place the parking spots at the exact same place of the existing ones. Finally, we reproduce markings on the apron.
Oh my god, look at all those dots.
The second part is defining surfaces.
Oh my goodness.
According to the observed material on Bing aerials, we edit surfaces. It can be grass, concrete, dirt, etc. This process allows us to capture the real identity of the runway and to apply accurate materials onto it. Of course, it leads to different behaviors, impacting the landing gear grip, for instance. If there are any visual artifacts on the grass, such as planes, we draw perimeters to remove them. The final part is the post-processing. These steps are automatically performed by our algorithms.
Wow.
The runway slope is applied for chart references. Materials are applied on generated objects, allowing us, for instance, to see reflections on runways, wet materials, tire marks, etc. The visual artifacts on concrete are automatically removed. Contrasts and colors are adjusted to match real life. Names are attributed to taxiways and signs are generating along them.
Okay, before he moves on to something else, I want to go back to that, because that is a lot of dots, and I don't know what in the world I'm looking at, but just seeing this and doing that 32,000 times for even larger airports than what this is, because this is obviously one of the smaller ones that they would edit, but I mean, it's just, that's just a lot. That's a lot of work. And that just makes me so excited to see this sim in person. It's just like there's so much effort going into just making the airports look good and look like real life, because it's just, they're going off of satellite imagery, obviously. So everything will look almost identical to what it'll look like in real life for, you know, parking areas and everything like that. I mean, that's just amazing. I love that. But, all right. Back to him talking. I'm sorry.
Windsocks are generated as well. These are even able to follow the wind direction when it changes.
Just the sound effects
we
are
also
great.
improve the light generation by having them spawning along the runways and taxiways. Because some airports deserve more attention, we made a selection of 80 airports based on the most played and busiest ones. We gave these airports more realism by naming the taxiways and signs according to official IDs and providing them more accurate surface definition. Beyond that, in order to take things further, we created a top-level category. We defined a final selection made of iconic airports and dressed them up to reach a new level of realism in flight simulation.
Looks so good.
We created and placed unique buildings and props matching reality, transcribing their identity and their ambience, and we even terraformed some landscapes to nest them in their real environment.
That's a really small runway. Hang on. Hold the phone right there. Just look at this runway. What in the world? Land a 747 on that thing. But I want to go back to this shot. Oh no, not this one. Where is it? There it is. Look at the clouds just going over the mountaintops over here, those peaks. And there's so many little details in here. It's so good. I love it. And then of course the night shot was great as well over here. I mean, that looks so pretty. I love it. It's gonna be this simulator is just gonna knock everything else out of the way. Nobody's even gonna talk about any other simulator out there at this current time. It's not gonna happen.
Now let's talk about airport life. Life is supported in every airport of the game according to the size. As in FSX, we kept the ambient ground traffic in airports, but we've made improvements. We filled airport parking lots with vehicles to provide a more realistic look. We tweaked vehicle behavior. They come and go on taxiways, but now they stop at all shots even if the runway is free, and they are able to turn on their lights at night.
Nice.
We included workers as well. They move between various points, bringing life to the apron. Services are now accessible from the ATC on a specific ground frequency. We kept services which were already set in FSX, but made various improvements. Gateways have new visuals and a more realistic way to attach exit doors, fitting more precisely with the fuselage.
God, look at that. See, that's what I like. You got the baggage guy here, you got them coming up here, you even got a catering truck. I mean, that's just, it's so good. I just love it.
Pushback vehicles now feature drivers.
Yeah, I'm glad that's a thing now too, so it's
The
not
baggage
just
service has workers
empty.
as well, and we set a realistic trail behavior on baggage carts.
Man.
Fuel services have been improved as well. When a fuel truck arrives, it plugs itself to the refueling hose. It automatically opens the fuel panel, allowing you to tweak your fuel settings. The same panel is open when you go to the fuel station with your aircraft. We added some services in order to allow you to complete your ground handling in a more realistic way. You can now call a ground power unit, which will be plugged into the aircraft through a cable. A ramp trunk is now available when you are on the right parking spot type. We added as well an animated catering truck.
I just love that. That's great.
All of these services are now exposed in XML and are customizable using the SDK tools. Is it possible as well to create small scripted behaviors with your own objects and animations and to place them where you want?
Oh my. Modders are going to have so much fun with this. I mean, my goodness, there's so much customization to this.
Noticed, there are no parked planes all over the apron. These aircraft are actually part of the traffic. They can be called by the ATC, which means that they will perform some ground services on their own to get ready for a flight.
That's great.
They will then taxi to the old short to queue before taking off. We hope you enjoyed this look into Microsoft Flight Simulator airport features and look forward to having you explore them in the future. On behalf of the whole airport team, thank you for watching and see you soon.
See, that whole part about the AI actually going to be using those services too, rather than it's just you know, nobody else is going to be using it. So the fact that when you're taxiing out, you'll see other fuel trucks and catering trucks go to these other planes before they take. I mean, that's great. It makes the airport feel alive and not just bland like it has been for decades. I mean, everything about this has been just amplified tenfold. It is just amazing to me how much more detail there is, how great it looks. I mean, my goodness. And we're still months away from this coming out, so there's going to be even more improvements to this. Because obviously this is probably all work in progress type stuff, but the amount of work that goes into making these airports look as good as they do in the sim is just amazing to me. And it's just amazing what technology can do now for simulators. You know, you got the Azure servers on this, and just, oh man, just the multiplayer, just everything about this sim is so exciting, and I cannot wait to play this. It's going to be fantastic. So again, when I'm back from the trip, I'll do the IFR video and all that good stuff. But hopefully you guys enjoyed this as well, and definitely looking forward to doing it more. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will talk to you guys next time. See ya.